It is quickly becoming one of the toughest colleges to get into, and even the best students aren't sure that they will get in.
I'm confident, but I'm always hesitant at the same time.
In about a month, UC Davis will let students know if they've been accepted for the fall semester. Many will be rejected. So tonight, CBS 13's Tony Lopez is digging into this question for us. How tough is it to get into UC Davis?
It's in the hand of 25,000 students to 35,000 students.
On a recent misty morning on the campus of UC Davis, clouds and fog weren't the only things in the air. Hope hovered over the open umbrellas as prospective students and their parents checked out a campus they'd love to be a part of.
How many of you guys know exactly what you guys want to major in when you guys get to college?
What they know is UC Davis, like most schools in the UC system, has become tougher to get into. How tough? 6 years ago, 68% of students who applied to UC Davis got in. This year, that number has been squeezed to just 38%, fewer than 4 out of every 10 applicants.
10, that is the exact answer.
Yeah. The nervous laughter on this campus tour is mixed with a subtle swagger.
I'm confident, but I'm always hesitant at the same time.
I'm confident that I will find the right place regardless of, how good the school is.
How good UC Davis has become is reflected in how many people want to go here. A record high number of nearly 80,000 students have applied for the fall of 2015.
Of course, there's no substitute for good grades.
Walter Robinson is an associate vice chancellor in charge of undergraduate admissions at UC Davis. We tapped into his expertise, wanting to know, how can students improve their chances of being admitted to the school of their choice?
The way to increase a student's chances for being admitted, I think, is to study what the admission selection process is at any school that they're thinking about going to.
And don't get too caught up focusing on the wrong stuff.
For me, the next step is, I think, entirely focusing on grades and, of course, standardized testing, because that's the most important part of the entire process.
That's not exactly true.
To do well on standardized tests is not as important as it once was, but it does help.
Sure, grades and test scores are important, but university officials remind us that students and parents often overlook another key aspect of getting into college: writing a compelling story describing your life.
Make sure they can tell their story, because some students have very compelling stories. Not a story of hardship, not a story of disadvantage necessarily, but a story that really gives us an idea of who they are.
To help determine where a student should be going, decision makers take into account where that student has been.
We review all applications in the context of opportunities that were available to them at their individual high schools. So that way the playing field is level for all students, regardless of what type of school that they come from.
Another thing to be aware of, don't succumb to the freak-out factor should your grades in high school take a dip.
Our application process allows students an opportunity to explain what happened that caused them to trend down.
In other words, communicate and be prepared. Like soon-to-be UC Davis freshman Andrew Lee.
I can see the glimmer in his eye of walking around the campus that he's ready to be here and he's ready to start.
For those still waiting, it won't be long. UC Davis will start sending out acceptance letters March 13th.
And Tony adds another piece of advice from admissions experts: if you really want to go to a UC school, apply to as many of them as possible. That is taken into account during the admissions process. Sam?